All right. It is the wild card, as we told you, and yesterday when Mr. Kishore sir was talking about the agenda. It's the surprise element, it's the googly factor. It's going to be enthralling, it's going to be interesting, exciting. I can't tell you more than this because even I don't know much about what the surprise element is. So we'll leave it to the imagination, but I'm going to give you a heads up about the gentleman who's going to be talking to us. Right here, academically, a CA, a CS, who worked for over 2 years with Citibank, 21 years with Morgan Stanley Investment Management. He was a part of emerging markets team, managing the India portfolios, and last 10 years currently has the designation of as an investment director at Inam Holdings. But this being his professional and academic side, he has another side to him as well. Apart from investing, this gentleman follows his passion in the true sense. A traveler, a photographer, he's won multiple photography awards, both domestic and internationally, including Sanctuary Asia Awards, Nature Photographer of the Year, Wildlife Vets, and many, many more. So we can probably see where this is going. For that, put your hands together. A round of applause to a man who's going to mix up things about passion and how you can put that into place in your professional life as well. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Mr. Sridhar Sivaram to take it forward right here at Go Beyond Retreat 2024.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you to the CEO Club for inviting me for this presentation. And in my 30 years of professional career as somebody who's followed the stock markets, I've made multiple presentations within India globally on India opportunities, stock markets, economy, and things to do in the markets. This is possibly my first presentation on my other passion, which is nature and wildlife. And I'm going to connect how nature, wildlife has helped me over the last 2 decades to improve my performance in the stock markets, in my professional life, in the financials field. Okay, so this is the first slide. To stay calm. So actually I come from an industry where we have constantly barraged with data. I mean, you get up in the morning and you see what happened to the US markets, then you have what's happening in China. We get quarterly results. We have data coming from the Reserve Bank, from the government. So we are actually barraged with data. So it's very important to segregate the noise versus what is actually required for our job. And staying calm is, I think, one of the most important elements that I have seen in my career. And nature sort of helps you in that. I mean, whenever I go and I'm in trekking or I'm in a wildlife jungle, this is one of my favorite places. The picture that you see is from actually Ramnagar. This is in Dhikala. This is the Ramganga River. I could sit there for possibly hours together. And this is a place where I've seen, tigers hunting, tiger and elephant fighting, plus just the calm nature of the river. I'm going to show a few more pictures. This is from Himachal. I mean, one of the most beautiful places in India. This is a place called Lahaul, where you could just trek and enjoy the beauty. But it is actually the calm nature of this entire place, which sort of brings some sort of help in my professional life. I'm just going to show a few more pictures. All these pictures have been taken by me during my various travels. This is from Antarctica. Again, one of the most beautiful places that you can ever travel. This is from Bandhavgarh. Again, a beautiful place, the Plateau Mountains. Those who have visited Bandhavgarh will know that this is one of the iconic places in the Magdi zone. Being calm when we have so much of information and data to analyze. But we also see in our business, sometimes it's not all that easy. So these are elephants charging at me in Corbett. And same happens in our market, that sometimes things are really bad and you need to actually take quick decisions, analyze the data. Like we saw during COVID, markets crashed almost 20–30%. If I go back to 2013, we had the taper tantrum and we had the currency market crashing. I also lived through 2007 when I was in Morgan Stanley at that point of time, and my firm was just a weekend away from shutting down. So often when we are managing portfolios of the funds, it's important to take quick decisions sometimes. And this is one of those times when, when elephants are charging at you, it's better to stay away at that point of time. So these sort of events often help or has helped me in my career. The other very important aspect of investing is patience. I mean, there is no instant gratification, and I've learned the hard way in my early part of my career when I started in 94 and we had a tech boom bust in 99, 2000. And before that, we had almost 5 years where nothing happened in the markets. And then you had suddenly, 1 year where you got multiple times of returns. What you see in this picture is actually a crouching tiger there and a sambar. And it is generally believed in the jungle that the sambar's sight is very poor. They actually don't see color. They just see gray, black, and little bit of green. And the tiger takes advantage of that. They can smell very well, and they see movements very well. But here the sambar is actually not able to see the tiger, but it is smelling. So it knows something is wrong. And what happens after this is that the tiger was a bit impatient. It tried to pounce on the sambar a bit too early, and the sambar was too quick, and it escaped. Sort of connecting it with the markets that if you're impatient or if you're expecting that you invest in the markets and you're going to get returns the next day, often we find that returns are back-ended. You stay for 1 year, 2 years, and then suddenly you get returns which are multifold coming up after a few years. So patience is very important in my business, and the nature sort of teaches you that this is how it is. I'll show you the next picture, which actually shows the virtue of patience. So this tiger actually patiently waited and timed its chase to the perfection. So the deer actually is much faster than the tiger, but the tiger has a short burst where it can outpace the deer. So it has to time its attack at the right point. Otherwise, it is normally believed that the tiger actually hunts only once in 10 attempts. So it actually 9 attempts fails. So this is sort of showing you what happens. When we go in the jungle, we actually, sometimes we just stay put in one place for maybe 3 hours, 4 hours, because we get some information. The jungle often gives you some hints, like there are alarm calls, there are deers calling, there are monkeys calling. Sometimes you have to be very patient. You know that if you have come to shoot a tiger, then the tiger is around, or a leopard, then the leopard is around. And you try and connect all these dots, some pug marks, and then you figure out whether we should wait, we should not wait. In most times I've seen that when you wait and when you're patient, the results are very good. These are some of the other images that I can share. This is in a very small park in Maharashtra called Umred Karandla, and this is a mother with 4 sub-adult cubs, and we waited for almost 3-4 hours in same place. And once most of the vehicles had, they were disappointed, had left, that's when the mother decided to come on road with the cubs. This is another one from Bandhavgarh, again, mother and cubs, and we had to patiently wait. This is almost very late evening, and we waited, and finally the mother came out with the cubs. Just to give an example, it's happened many times that we waited patiently and we didn't get anything, but it's just a virtue of patience. More often than not, you end up, getting rewards which are multifold. Same here, one more from the same. This is from Tadoba, cubs playing in the water. This was a summer afternoon, and very late evening, these cubs decided to come once the mother also showed up. Hard work. You may be wondering what I'm doing here. So this is Satara in Maharashtra. And those who've been to Maharashtra, Satara, this is mid-May. Temperatures are around 45 degrees. And obviously, I've come here to shoot something very exquisite and unique, which I'll show in the next slide. But I guess there's no, this is true for every business, that nothing comes easy. You have to work very hard, same for my business, same for every business that you guys run, and whoever's sitting here. And if I look at our business, I mean, we meet so many companies, we go through the annual report, the balance sheets, we meet industry experts, and then we finally take a call based on all our analysis, whether the stock will do well or not do well. So a lot goes in constructing a portfolio. And I guess the same is in wildlife and nature, that nothing comes very easy. So this is what I was shooting. This is a fan-throated lizard. This is actually their mating ritual of the fan-throated lizard. So it's trying to woo the female, and the male lizard, which has a better fan, which is able to dance better, is able to attract the female. And this happens, and these are actually an endangered species. It's found only in a very small area in Maharashtra, especially the colored ones. And they come out and do this dance only for a very short period during their mating ritual, which is sometime between mid-May and early June. So if one has to see them, you have to actually, and they're so small that if you want to shoot them or you want to take a proper picture, you have to go to their eye level to shoot. So that's what you saw me doing in the previous picture. These are some of the other places that as a wildlife and a nature photographer you end up going, because you have to go to places where, so in tiger resorts you're not allowed to get off, but when you're doing birding, you typically are trekking or you're going, this is in Run of Kutch, and migratory birds come to Run of Kutch. And that's when you actually have to cross these salt pans to reach the right place, the right angle, the right location to shoot some of these birds. So that's what happens. So we often see the end result, but what happens behind, a lot goes in behind that. This is one of the shots from there. There's a purple heron having, finding a catch, which is a fish. And this is from Orissa in Chilka Lake. So these are whiskered terns. So the terns fight with each other. One of the tern will find a fish, and then all the others will try and snatch it from the other fish. So you have to be positioned right to see that as soon as the fish is being caught, you're there in the right place to capture the action shots. Many times you will not get, but this is one of those lucky moments where I was in the right time at the right place. This is the other one. This is an oriental dwarf kingfisher. You find this in the Western Ghats. To shoot this, you have to go during the rainy season. This is, again, the time for their breeding. So they actually do all these catches for the young chicks. And in most of these times, it is raining very heavily, and you are possibly wading around with leeches, so you end up wearing all those leech socks. But the end product is so beautiful that you actually don't mind taking these tough calls to go to some of these places to shoot these animals. This again is the Asian fairy bluebird, a Western Ghat celebrity, I would say. And you have to trek a lot. This is closer to Ooty. So you trek some of the mountains, and then you go to the highest plain and you find some of these beauties. India has so many beautiful birds and animals that I may have to present for maybe 2 hours to finish that. This is one of my favorite, the long-tailed broadbill, the star from Uttarakhand. And again, it is found during a particular period of time more often, which is their breeding time, which is March, April, and you have to trek in some of the mountains there to locate this. This is the other one which we talk in the stock market, which is time and not timing, which is the time you spend in the market determines your returns. It's not whether you time the market. I mean, very few people can literally time the market exactly to the point. But if you see returns, what, say, Berkshire Hathaway or Warren Buffett has made, almost 70–80% of his returns have come in the last 10 years. So it's actually the time, which is what we say, that the compounding, the effect of compounding is so huge that the more time you spend in the markets, the chances are that over a period, your returns will be disproportionate, which is why we generally tell people that if you start investing early in the market and maybe just buy a Nifty or any of the other products, it has a big impact in the return that you get from your portfolio. The same is with wildlife, that the more time you spend in the jungle, the probability that your chance to see something that is happening in the jungle is very high. And the jungle, always something is happening. You need an eye to see. So this is in Bandhavgarh. We were the last vehicle to come out. We heard some calls, and those who've been to Bandhavgarh, just outside the Magdi gate actually is a road, and this tiger was crossing the road. We were the last vehicle to come out, and we saw this tiger move out at that point of time. These are just some other examples of, spending more time. We sometimes do a full-day safari, which is stay in the jungle throughout the day, morning to evening. And sometimes we've seen that it is during the afternoon period that the animals have started to become very active. This is one such example where this mother and their cubs were very active during the period when only a few vehicles were around in the afternoon. This is from Rajaji again. Very late evening, we found this leopard sitting on the tree, and there were just two vehicles, and he was very kind to actually give us all sorts of poses. This is from Masai Mara. Again, as I said, time. We saw this lion sitting on a rock, and we were waiting for the perfect shot for the sunset to happen. And fortunately, the lion continued to sit on the rock for a long period of time. So that gave us that opportunity to shoot something like this, where we had the sunset on the backdrop. I'm going to end with an appeal to everybody here, which is nature and conservation. What you see here is a tiger with a plastic bottle. We as humans have encroached into the animal kingdom, and we are actually destroying that very fast. If all of us collectively don't do something to it now, our next generation and the generation after that may not even witness all these animals, and many of them, as I said, are already becoming extinct. So this is something that we all have to keep in mind, and CSR activity is something which corporate CEOs can look at. There are various other ways of conserving energy, conserving nature. Man-animal conflict, this is one of a famous photograph of mine which won a lot of awards. But actually, this is a very sad photograph. You see a leopard under the bike. This is shot in Ranthambore. And these guys actually were driving inside the park because there is a temple inside Ranthambore. And they were speeding down, and this leopard was crossing the road. I happened to be there just because we knew that there was a leopard, and we thought the leopard is going to cross. Unfortunately, exactly when the leopard crossed, this happened. Fortunately, all four escaped. There were 3 on the bike and the leopard. They managed to escape. We did go and appeal to the forest department that this is something that they need to control, not allow people to just freely walk inside a national park which has tigers and leopards. And this is the conflict between development and conservation, that we need roads, we need development, and we also need to conserve. So this is one such example. I think in Maharashtra and Pench, a lot has been done. We have some elevated roadways now with underpass for animals to cross over. So these are very good initiatives, but I think a lot more can be done. That ends my presentation here. Thanks a lot. I would only urge to everyone that please think about conserving nature, contribute through your CSR activity, and if you need any help on CSR, do reach out to me because I work with a lot of NGOs. I'm happy to take any questions if you have, anything other than tip on the stock market.
All right. We'll be taking about two to three questions at the max. Anybody questions? Please raise your hand, and we'll make sure you get the mic. Right at the back. Okay, we have one. We'll just let the gentleman ask the question.
What is your favorite camera?
Oh, I now started using the mirrorless. So I use the Nikon Z8. But actually, it is not the camera. It's the person behind the camera. So it doesn't matter whether you have the best camera or not. You need to have the right angles, and I have a lot of experts sitting here who are from the film industry. I don't need to say more.
All right.
Good evening, and I wanted to ask that would you like to share any experience of your any kind of amazing journey that went very difficult and problematic for you at that time?
Problematic. Yeah, so I can say that one such trip of mine to Corbett, which was in January, and we had a tiger sitting on the tree, and it was moving around, but it was also pouring. And this is Jan in Corbett. You can imagine what is happening at that time. It was almost 0 degrees, and we were all getting wet. At that point of time, your adrenaline rush is so high that you didn't realize that you're getting wet, your camera gear is getting wet, you're busy shooting. Once we came back to our rooms, and these are forest guest houses, so these are not which have all the gadgets that you want, your heater and all those, we realized that we are in deep trouble because we didn't have enough warm clothes. And it's very difficult to, dry some of these. But that's one that comes to my mind. The other one which I showed you was when the elephants were charging at us. The driver was not on his seat because he was looking for a tiger. But fortunately, it was a false charge. They came very close to our vehicle, and then they retreated because normally elephants which have a mother which has cubs or which has smaller elephants, then they're very protective and they get very angry. So I think these are some of the ones I can think of.
If I may know, what has changed in you that you admire the most after following your hobby, after your work focus?
I think I've become far more patient. I think that has been the biggest thing. I mean, interacting with people, or like today, my flight from Mumbai, we landed in Jaipur, and it took me 6-7 hours to come here. I mean, I can't do anything, right? So you just accept things the way it is, things which are not in your hand, and things which you try to, convince people in your own way. I guess patience has been one of the biggest things that nature has taught me. I would say that it has helped me as a person and also in my professional career.
Hi, Sridhar. One last question before you leave. Since you said that no tips on the stock market, we will ask you a single tip how to remain patient, because there are a lot of CEOs out sitting out here, largely are impatient. How do you, what is your mantra for having patience, as you just narrated that your flight went to Jaipur and you had to keep calm?
So I think it comes over a period, right? I come from an industry which is greed and fear. I mean, you have two emotions which are constantly, in your mind, because when the markets are going up, you're very greedy. When the markets are going down, you're fearing. To come over these two emotions itself is enough, and we are going through that almost every day. So to say that I don't make mistakes now will be not true, but I think I was far more impatient during my younger days, and over a period, I think the stock market is a great learner. I mean, it teaches you so fast that you see even today that some of the stars, who may talk very well, their portfolios may not do well because the markets have their own way of, it's like sports. I mean, it's their own way of putting people in the right places. So it's not easy for me to say how to get that. But I think if you go to nature and wildlife more often, maybe it helps you.
Thank you, thank you. I think the tip is very clear. Enter the stock market and enter the jungle.
Yes.
Thank you, Shri.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Could we have a huge round of applause to the gentleman? And sir, if I could just have you with us for just one more minute. That was truly a wild card in every sense possible. Yes? Anil sir, can I throw in my wild card and ask one question if that's okay? Yes? So the question is, whatever we do, we tend to not follow it because of the hurdles we face. But passion is something that we go on no matter what. But was there an encounter because of a lion or a tiger that was so close, you actually thought like, okay, it's not worth following this passion? Did it give you a scare? Anything? Because this happened to me. I used to be a Hayabusa rider. That was my passion. Once I was at 240 about to hit a bus, and that's about it. Once I had that encounter, I sold my Hayabusa and never got back to that passion. So just want to understand from you.
That hasn't happened to me at least, because we follow some discipline when we are in wildlife, which is we give a lot of space to the animal. We know that these are wild animals, and we stand no chance if they decide to attack. So it is a passion. We do treks, and sometimes we do encounter, like I was in Kotagiri trekking, and we had a sloth bear in front of us. And most people will know that more than a tiger, it is the sloth bear which is more dangerous, because it attacks the human, plus it can run faster than the human. So you just stay still and allow the animal to go. So I think in most cases, if you don't disturb the animal, then I think they follow their own path. Most man-animal conflicts happen because we are encroaching into their territory, and we are trying to do something which they don't like. That's what I would say.
Social distancing is very important. All right, with this, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank the gentleman for all the insights, your journey, the story, and also re-emphasizing that following passion will actually help us, even if we belong to a different vertical. And also thanks to the gentleman for rubbing it in on our face and making us feel jealous.